like to welcome Ryan into our first podcast. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on, Roxy. Much welcome. Much appreciated.
You're very much welcome. So, I'm just going to quickly tell a story how Ryan and I first met. It wasn't all that long ago, actually. It's probably about 6 months ago. I had been doing some investigations for quite a while, but not on social media. So I decided, why not? So I got on TikTok and YouTube and all the social medias, and I was doing a live on TikTok at a local cemetery, and lo and behold, Rye finds me, comes into the room, and kind of guides me through, because I was all new to doing live investigations while people were watching, and it was an absolute godsend to have you on, so that I much appreciated. And from then on, we've kind of gone from strength to strength. Do you agree?
I do agree.
Yeah, it has been lots of ups and downs, but we've shared some good captures. You've captured some awesome evidence from my lives as well as your own. I am going to ask you 10 riveting questions about the paranormal, and I would love to hear what you have to say, because I know that you are full of information. You've been there, done that as well. And as we all know, that everyone who does paranormal investigations can get different evidence, even though they can go to the same place. So, welcome once again, Ryan.
Thank
To
you
the
for
very
having me.
first podcast. You're very welcome. So, the first question I'd like to ask you is, can you share with us one of the most compelling experiences you have had while investigating the paranormal?
I would love to. So the first part would be when I was with one of my other team members, and I had flown interstate for it, and we were at a certain grave. Her name was Ruby, which she had been mistreated by the priest of the place that she was at. I believe she was impregnated by the priest, and then there was a whole lot of cover up on it. And we were investigating her grave, and she come through and was telling him to go, because we were telling her that she was free to have her own say. And we've got a clip up on our page of it, and you can hear her say "go." And
Wow.
it was a complete voice of hers. And then a few seconds later, a cat ball rolls off her grave. Like it was, there was no wind,
So
no
I've got
nothing.
goosebumps just hearing that, because I know
It was
how.
completely, like, that was my first ever major encounter. And then we've got another one where I was at, say, Ward 21 in Morisset, which was a mental asylum hospital back in the day. And we were nearing the end, and we were just walking around, and then the spirits started counting down from 10.
What?
Yeah, they just started counting, and we're like, what are you counting for? And then they just kept counting and counting. And then lo and behold, I end the live, come home to have a photo sent to me by a viewer of an apparition standing in front of us the entire time. So I believe
Oh.
it was getting ready to charge at us.
So it was a negative entity.
Yeah. Again, that there's that photo up on our TikTok page as well for everyone to see.
Yep. As I said, I'll link his all his bio down in the comments below, guys. So go and follow and watch. That would be very interesting. That would be very
Yeah.
interesting. Were you with another investigator then, with one of your
Um,
teammates?
yeah, one another team member. Then yes,
Team member.
there was a couple of us there, but like it was another team member and his niece, and then two people that turned up and asked us if they could join us on the investigation.
Wow. That's
And
insane.
then most recently, with the guy from J&J Paranormal, JC, we were conducting the Estes method, and he was choked while under. It was the most frightful
Um,
thing.
and how did he feel after that?
He was scared,
Mm. He didn't
but
have any marks on his neck or anything?
no,
No.
thankfully I was able to pull
Mm.
him out before anything majorly could happen.
Did anything come through the Estes that thought
We
there was
didn't
anything
allow it
negative?
to go any
Go any
further,
further?
due to safety issues that could
Yeah,
arise afterwards. And then
absolutely.
we ended the live, and then I could hear audibly from the same spirit, "You're next."
Wow.
So, yeah,
So you left it there and didn't take it any further, I guess.
no, we left that cemetery.
Wow. Have you been to that cemetery before?
We had been to that one a couple of times before.
And nothing like
Not
that
as
had
violent.
happened before. Wow. Did you have an idea of who it might have been?
Yes, we know exactly who it was.
Okay.
Um, and I did actually manage to take some photos with my digital camera, and I absolutely actually caught him on camera. Again, link photo in our TikTok page. I posted it up
Wow.
where you can actually see him.
Wow.
So
That's poor JC. That would have been pretty rough for him. But wow, that's some full on stuff, you know. But just to let everyone know, that doesn't happen every day,
no,
every single time, because it just doesn't happen that way. But when it does,
that's just
things like
off three of our investigations, three separate investigations. So it's not just
yeah,
the one.
yeah, exactly. Wow, that's that's crazy. So okay, next question. Number 2. What initially sparked your interest in investigating the paranormal or the supernatural?
Um, I've always had a like for the paranormal. And then I joined TikTok at the end of 2019 as I was going on a holiday break for 4 weeks. So I was like, let me join TikTok. Let's see what this is all about. And then I found a couple of paranormal investigators on there. I'm not sure if you know him, Big Biff's Haunted Stuff. He was one
Mm-hmm.
of the major influences into myself going live on TikTok to do it. And then, just watching, your ghost haunting shows, ghost adventures on TV, and just having the ability to be able to see them, feel them, even
Mm.
hear them. It's just something that's always been there, and I just thought it was time to pursue it.
Was it a hard decision to do to get started, or it was something? Yep, I'm doing it.
It was a scary situation, like a scary thought to do it because of being live on TikTok and having the amount of people that could watch you, and if you
Just
made a
that,
mistake, the
just that
judgment.
in itself is bad enough. Let alone what you're doing with ghosts. It's the living that can cause a lot of
Yeah.
harm too.
See, I'm not afraid of no ghosts or anything like that. And, you shouldn't be afraid of the spirits. You should be afraid of the living while you're out there investigating.
Yes, and as me being on TikTok, and so do you, we've had our fair share of trolls, and and we're not the only one. And unfortunately, there's other people that have taken it too far, and we've had a few losses of some beautiful souls
Yeah.
because of trolls. And it's horrible, but unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether you're on TikTok, social media, or anywhere. You can walk down the street and come across them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I guess that's the life we're living at the moment, and we just have to deal with it. But it's not pleasant, but it is a big thing to put yourself out there, because it's taking the good with the bad, and sometimes the bad um, is horrible. But there are some beautiful people there too, out
Yeah.
there. So that is one thing that is made me realise that there are some really good souls out there. So that makes it
Yeah.
worth it. So how do you maintain objectivity and skepticism whilst investigating claims of the paranormal?
So with this one, it's basically, you keep an open mind because you never know what could happen. You've got people joining a live saying, "Oh, is so and so there?" You can't just turn around and say, "Oh, yeah, they're here," and get their hopes up saying that their loved one is coming
Yep.
through. Um, you basically say, "Oh, if they come through, they come through," or we can try and ask to see if they will come through, but you never should expect them to come through because not
Mm-hmm.
always will they be the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because it could be somebody else answering saying it's them, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it, doing a live and showing people that us trying to communicate, they, or not everyone, but some people automatically think, oh, we can connect to their grandmother or their dad, and it's a touchy subject. There's a fine line, and there are people out there taking advantage of them. And even myself, I will say, I'm sorry if they're not going to come through, they can't come through. I can ask, but please don't get your hopes up, because I'm
No.
not a medium. I'm not a psychic. I just use the devices and the way I communicate, and it is. But then on the other hand, you've got the pain that they're going through,
Yeah.
and I know they want to connect with their loved ones so badly, but you can't
Ex-
always do
Especially
that.
the ones that you get that come in and say, "Oh, they've recently passed. I want to communicate." It's not as simple as coming into a paranormal live and saying, "Can you try and talk to my dad or my grandma or whatever?" Because they may not be ready to communicate because it
No.
probably still like I was alive just that not that long ago.
Mm. Mm. And then you've got to have some sort of, you know,
You gotta
what's
have
the word?
boundaries, really.
You do have to have boundaries for sure, but the way you talk to them has to be a certain way too, because
Yeah, you gotta be
they can.
mindful. You gotta be respectful, and
I mean, yeah. I mean, we are in general, but the thing is, they're in pain. They want to talk. They've lost someone most of the time recently, so you have to be the bearer of bad news, like a better word, to say, hey, I'm very, very sorry for your loss, but unfortunately, I can't ring the phone and say, hey, can you come through, spirit? It's not
yeah.
like that.
Some people do think that we can do that,
Yes,
and that's
yes.
another thing where they think, oh, they're a paranormal investigator. They've got a link to talk to my loved one. It's not like that.
No, definitely not.
But
Definitely
then you've
not.
got some fakers out there that go, "Oh yeah, I can talk to them." if you donate me this much, blah blah blah. It's just like, no, it's not how it works.
But the thing is, too, this has been happening for hundreds of years. There's been charlatans since the 1800s. Starting from the Ouija board all the way through life of people taking advantage of people in pain and vulnerable. And they still are today, and they always will be, because there's always those people out there. But
Yeah,
at least we can stand tall at the end of the day and say, we aren't lying just to make someone happy for a financial gain.
yeah.
So, no,
And
that is
I
one
don't
thing I
I
don't
don't go
like.
out investigating for the money or anything like that. I just go out there because it's something I enjoy doing.
But realistically, for the beautiful, beautiful souls out there that do, send gifts, as in through TikTok, they can send these little gift
Yeah,
things through. You know, when you say you're not doing it for the money, really, what money is it? We're not big
yeah.
channels. You'd be lucky if, I could pull $20 in a month. I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but that's not what it's about.
No,
And if I was worried about the money, I wouldn't do it, because it's definitely not going to make me a wealthy person. And
no.
it's not
Not
why
while
we
we're
do
young
it.
accounts anyway.
No, exactly. And
But we don't do it for the money. We do it for the fun, and we always say, gifts are never expected but much appreciated.
oh, absolutely. Everyone's going through, well, majority of people are going through a really rough time financially. Cost of living is so expensive, and I wouldn't expect anyone, like, I wouldn't do a live and go, if you donate this amount of money, I will do this for you or this for you, and asking some exorbitant amount. But there are some out there that do that, unfortunately, and
Especially after they've just lost someone as well, because they've got all those
yeah,
bills that they've got to pay. It's just like, no.
oh, that's exactly right. Um, it's just people preying on the vulnerable, and having lost someone is one of the most vulnerable situations you can be in, and especially if they've, you know been taken tragically. You want answers. They want
Yeah.
to know, and we don't have those answers, not unless
Unless
they
we
really.
physically can go to that site where they were, maybe we could pull something, but we don't have all the
It's
answers.
I'd never guarantee it. Never, ever, ever guarantee anything, because giving false hope can do more damage than
100% it can.
them grieving. You know. So, have you ever had any personal experiences with the paranormal or supernatural outside investigations, as in you yourself personally?
Well, I can say yes, I have, because I've obviously brought a few home, but like I have actually had a shapeshifter or a one that can change or morph into somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mum can vouch as well, because she's had it happen to her as well in the same night or the two separate nights, where it's woken us up, and one either being in the shape of myself or her, telling us something
Wow.
different. Um, for mine, it was her telling me that the bins or something needed to go out, but the bins were already out on the side of the road. But for her, it was me standing at the end of her bed telling her that the cat needed to go to the toilet, but it was
Wow.
fast asleep. So it
Wow.
was weird.
And did you end up getting rid of
Yeah, we ended up getting rid of it,
that?
yeah.
Oh,
Like
wow.
a full house cleanse and stuff like that. We don't know where it came from, but yeah.
Do you have any spirits currently in your house that are good spirits that you are happy
Um,
to have with you?
I've got one that I know of that is a good one. A young girl named Madison. I managed to somehow have brought her home in a porcelain doll that I was given by a client of mine, and I brought the dolly home, and I was on the team call with like the rest of the team, and we're like, all right, we'll do a spirit box session just to see if there's anything here, because if I've always got the kit with me, just to see if anything's attached, and then we get, hi, my name's Madison, and I was like, Madison, where are you? In the doll in the cupboard. I was like, wow, okay. And she's been with me ever since. Like, and I say to her, "You ready to go on another adventure?" And she's ready to go, and she comes along with me. And she comes out on she doesn't physically come out on the investigation, but I know she's there. Um, there was one I did. There was an investigation we did to end the year off last year, and as we were ending the live, JC and I stood in front of the camera to wave goodbye to everyone. And after we looked at the back at the live and I screenshot it, she was there standing by my leg.
Wow. How old's
So
Madison, do you think?
she's 4,
Oh, she's
almost
just a
5.
papa. Oh,
So,
oh, that's sweet. That's
and she
sweet.
actually was playing. Well, she was. Well, the spirit said that she was playing. Well, she wasn't playing with them. On our last investigation, I think his name was Thomas, the guy that was with her, because he asked who the little girl was, and I told him who it was, and he's like, she's been playing with me. So obviously
Oh,
playing games, which is pretty good.
yeah, that's special, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous. All right. What advice would you give to someone who is interested in exploring the paranormal but doesn't know where to start?
So with that one, it would be just to make sure you're well protected. Um, find a local paranormal investigator like myself or yourself, Roxy, to the local area and ask them, can I come out on an investigation? You don't have to do a live for as such. You can just go out and take them just on an investigation off camera and do one so they can get a sense of what it feels like. Because then you don't have the pressure of the world watching if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But then you've got to also make sure you've got yourself protected, they're protected, because you don't want nothing to happen to them because they are so new to whatever we're doing.
Yeah. And it's always to be careful what you wish for, because some people want to go out and when they do finally, if they're lucky enough to see something or capture something, sometimes they're like, oh, maybe not. This is not for me.
So yeah, exactly. Don't wish for something to, like, be careful what you wish for, because you never know what could happen.
It's very unpredictable, the spirits.
The spirit world is very, very unpredictable.
It's because we're still learning so much about it, and it's, you're always scared of things you don't 100% understand and know. And hence why people like ourselves that have got an open mind will try and learn and find the answers, where the skeptics, they just can't seem to grasp that the ideal of an afterlife like we do. But like you say, and I've also said in my lives, that skeptics are welcome. Just be
Yeah.
respectful. You don't have to believe in ghosts to watch me. You don't have to believe in any of it. If you're just interested or intrigued just to see, that's okay. Come in and watch, but don't, just be
Don't ruin
respectful.
it for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of people in there that really do enjoy it. There wouldn't be so many out there if people didn't watch it.
Yeah, and we
So,
have built a nice little parafam between the two, lots
yes.
of teams and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. And it's beautiful that after you get the ball rolling and you get your regulars come in and they tell you how they can't wait to watch your lives. It makes it all worth it.
yeah,
Money is one thing, but having people actually enjoy what you do as well, it is a good
I
feeling.
get more enjoyment out of people saying, thank you for the live. It was
Mm,
it was a great distraction and over
absolutely.
the money. You know,
Yeah.
money. The gifts. The gift money is just a bonus, is what I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And with me, and I know with you as well, that it just goes straight back in.
Yeah.
The little bit you get goes straight back into, like, put fuel in your car to go to the next investigation, or buying a few more little bits and pieces, which,
Or if a cat ball dies, you just go and buy a couple more cat balls. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there was one live I did out west in New South Wales, and we earned enough money. I think that live we lost about 5 cat balls in the one night.
Wow. The drain.
But we drained, broken, everything. But we had earned enough in that live where I went and bought another 15 cat balls.
Mm,
And that's where the money
yeah.
went. Like, everyone thinks, oh, no, you just take it for yourself. No, we don't. We invest it back into the lives.
Yeah, so we can't do an investigation to show you guys if we've got no tools to use. So,
And, and some of them think, oh, you go and gift other paranormal investigators. No, we keep, like, the money we earn on the live goes to the investigating. We then put our own money towards,
yeah.
gifting others.
Yeah, and how beautiful is that too, that we have enough respect to go and watch all these other investigators and say, hey, I appreciate what you do here, because we know how it's not expected, and I know a lot of them don't expect it, some of them do, um, but the ones that don't expect it and are very
They go, oh,
appreciative of it, they're
they're
like,
super
wow.
shocked. And
Yeah, especially from another paranormal investigating team, they went, oh well, that because there are quite a lot of small channels out there that are really good, but just can't get off the ground because there's just all these other ones that are faking it, get the money, get all this fancy equipment, and let's face it, it is expensive for equipment. Like
it
just
sure is.
a Boo Bear, those Boo Bears are like $400-500, and the REM pods, the proper ones with the four lights, I've looked at them and they were like $395, and it goes
Well,
on and on and on.
the EMFs even, they're more expensive, and
And now a lot of people are getting into it. They're putting the
everything's going up
prices up.
because they're all trying to cash in on it.
Yeah,
It's like when I first started could almost say nearly 2 years ago now. Um, I could buy a set of 2 cat balls for $20, like $10 a ball, or no, like, so I could get 4 for $20, so $10 a packet. Now you're spending $45 on 15.
yeah. And to be honest, I can go weeks without even getting $45
Yeah,
in donations. So if I did it for the money, I'm in the wrong job. Well, it's not a job; it's
definitely.
a passion. So I just want to. I just feel it's very important to let people know that there are teams out there that don't go um, every 5 minutes saying, "Hey, donate, donate, donate," and I'll do this, I'll do that. And there's so many out there that do it, and it'll look at the end of the day. That's that's their channel,
That's
and good
them.
luck to them.
We will do us.
And yeah, exactly. I'm not going to send people over there going hate. No, because I don't
No.
want hate on me. And
And
if I don't agree, I'm not sending go over and hate on them. No, it's not like that.
and for example, we had a few people ask us, are you going to make merchandise? Yes, we do have merch,
Yes.
but I'm not going to sit there and ram it down everyone's throat.
No.
Go and buy this, go and buy that. If you want,
No.
link in bio
It's
if you want to
there.
go and grab your some.
Yeah. If not, we do not expect it. It's just
No.
there in case you want something a little different.
And,
You know.
if there's any profit as such that goes off the merch, it goes back into buying the materials to make the merch, because I make it all myself
Yeah.
with my sister. And she's like, no, you need to be able to have some money for yourself, like, make a little bit to cover the cost of you getting here. I'm like, no, it's not the fact that, you know, that I'm going to charge them for my time, because it's something I love
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. And and it's really difficult to get off the ground when you're so small, but it's like you said, you do you, and you don't worry about. Um, Look, don't get me wrong. I'm only human. I have seen other channels, and I get very disappointed, and it upsets me because they're taking advantage so much of some people.
Mm.
But
And you want to say something, but then, it could
yeah,
backlash and hurt you as well.
yeah, and it's like, you know what? I'll just stay in my lane and keep going forward.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But in the meantime, I'm having so much fun going out and sharing my experiences with people that, like, I can go out to investigation, and sometimes I'd be lucky to have 20 people watching. And if that's the case, well, that's the case. Because normally those 20 people love it. So,
Yeah.
you
But not
know,
necessarily. With TikTok, it shows you that it says you may have 20 people, but you may have people sitting on private accounts, so your numbers could be a little bit higher. But how can you know? But also, there could be those ones that are interested but are busy at the time as well, and they're watching you on the FYP page and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But if you go by statistics and numbers and that, you'd just be depressed. You think, why
Yeah,
bother? Why bother? Because we love it. Simple.
yeah.
And like I said, it has brought a lot of good people. I mean, you see the good and bad of people, but like I said, you stay in your lane, do the best you can do. And if your page picks up and you get more followers and people start, you start earning a little bit more money, well, so be it, because you know what? We deserve
They
it.
must be enjoying it.
And they must be enjoying it. And that is good feedback as well, even if they don't say anything. If,
Just like,
you know,
a little heart when you post a video up of like what you've just done. It means that that person's loved what they've just seen that you've done for
yeah,
them.
yeah. And that, just a nice little comment, like, oh, yeah, I've posted a video, oh, awesome video, thank you. That means the world, It's like, okay, it was worth spending 3 days sitting behind this desk editing, especially when you're only new to editing and you're trying to figure out all these buttons.
And as some people say, a few words means $1,000,000.
Oh, and someone could come into our lives as well and having the worst day, and maybe they've just lost someone, and by you saying, how are you going, thank you for joining, it
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 lightens
means,
their
and
mood.
that's all it can take for someone, just to go, wow. And I have actually had people come in and say to me, wow, I've been to other channels and I've never had anyone say hello to me.
Yeah.
And look, I can understand when you do have a fair few people, and you're trying to keep an eye on the REM pod, and then the spirit box, and then this over there and this over there and this over there, and And that's
And
why
you're also trying to keep an eye out for the actual human
for
life as well.
yeah, especially me, because I do it by myself most of the time, and that's why it is handy. You come on, and I'll say, right, can you just talk, and because I need to go and do this, because I don't have that extra set of hands to help me. So you'll come on and just, say hello to people and greet them, and it's beautiful, and it's and and I know, as well as your group and as well as mine, that we have made people feel very welcome, and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, and it's beautiful. And like I said, people come in because they're either curious about the afterlife, or majority of the time they've lost someone. And even if they don't want to try and communicate with someone they're lost, just to know that,
There's other
once
people that
we
have gone through the same thing.
absolutely, you're not alone. And how many times have we offered people messages privately if you ever need to talk, because you are not alone?
Always.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if they don't, at least they can sit there and go, actually, someone does care that doesn't even know me. I can, they might never contact you, but they know that the offer's there. And that sometimes is enough for some
Yeah.
people.
And as I always say, my DMs are always open, or add me on Insta, message me on Insta. If you want, call me on Insta. Just message first, so obviously if I'm free I can answer. And no non-judgment. Just I'm here to
Yeah,
listen if you need someone just to listen.
yeah. Sometimes people don't want you to fix anything, they just need to talk. And
They
they
just
just
need
want
someone to
an
vent
ear.
to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to, though. The more you hold it in, it just causes more toxic energy, and it's no good. And that's when people start spiraling. So, and mental health is such a big thing at the moment. You work in the health industry, and I've dealt with so many people, and we all ourselves personally struggle with mental health. I mean, no
Mental
one's
health is a
perfect.
big thing these days.
Absolutely, and it's really hard to find anyone that isn't suffering different degrees, different levels of mental health. I mean, and then, like I said, once you do an investigation too, the energy that they draw from you, the spirits, can really make you
You
feel
can sleep
pretty
for
low.
days.
Yes, yes. Well, that's good. All right, so I guess we're up to the very last question. Can you share any memorable encounters with a skeptic or a non-believer that challenged your beliefs, or your approach to your and paranormal, your way of investigating? Sorry.
Um, I haven't as such had an encounter with one, but I've had a few on TikTok saying, this is fake and stuff like that. And I just say to them, just sit back, watch, and if it's not what you believe, then that's your choice. Um, or if I've met someone that says, "Oh no, paranormal investigating is not," it's disrespectful. I just turn around and say, it's just my way of giving the spirits a voice, so their stories can be heard. If they died too young, give them a bit more of a voice so they can feel wanted or feel loved, basically.
Yeah, um, and it's like I said in my group. You can be a skeptic, but just be respectful. So it's just hashtag just be kind. That's all we ask.
Yeah,
You
just be
know.
kind, sit back and enjoy. We may convert you to being a believer, but if
If
not,
not, so be it.
it is what it is.
It's your prerogative. You are you, and I'm not going to ram it down your throat that you need to believe this. You are an individual with your own mind, and if you believe, you believe. If you don't, you don't. But I'll keep doing what I'm doing, because I know and you know that you are respectful. We don't
Yep.
go do we don't damage property. We don't damage anything at cemeteries. We don't do anything like that to warrant some of the nasty comments you get. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is what it is.
And there was one time that I was at a cemetery. It was I think it was New Year's Eve investigation, just for a bit of fun to make somebody laugh that night. I was setting off little party poppers, but as I said on the live, I will personally make sure this cemetery is clean from whatever we use.
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. And it's always those few that have damaged it that make it really hard for us to go to places, unfortunately. But like you haven't, but I know
No,
that
but there is some people out there that ruin it for others.
Absolutely. And for instance, I've been at cemeteries, as you know, and I've had police come twice because so many
Someone
people
called them.
destroy headstones, and so they're going to some weird person sitting in a cemetery at 2 o'clock in the morning. So the police come, make sure you're not destroying it. I couldn't imagine desecrating someone's beautiful last resting place.
There was ones down in South Australia, I think it was, or in Melbourne, where they labelled them grave robbers, where they were stealing stuff from the graves. There was one in South Australia, I think it was now, where someone stole someone's ashes out of an ash wall.
Oh dear.
And then the family then went and removed another loved one that was directly below them because of the fear that they could come back and take another one.
Yeah, this world is a funny old place.
It sure is.
And I find it a little bit more easier to talk to spirits than I do the living people. Don't get me wrong, I've been called some names by spirits too. I've copped it. They're not always the politest thing, yes, but
I've been called daddy a few times by spirits, but that could be my little friend that's running around, because she might not know who her father is anymore, and she's just believes that I am her. I am him.
Yeah, and it's to me, the living can do way more damage than anything I've ever seen in the spirit world.
Yeah. And especially, for example, when I've joined one of your lives, the spirits have called out my name, but it's out of nowhere. Where I don't even join under my own name, I join under the investigation name, and they call out my name. It's just okay.
Yeah, it's happened quite a few times. I've said your name as clear as day.
And they've said it on my own as well. I'm a freestone as well. Especially, there's been twice under the Estes method, where a spirit's called he's like, I know who you are, and I say, who am I? And they say my name. It's just like, okay.
Wow, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you shouldn't be surprised because we know that they have the ability to do that, but it's just such a beautiful validation when you get it.
That they are listening and they know who you are, and that you mean no harm to them.
Like, we're not one of these people that, like, if I see, and I have had it before, like, I'll see it like a shadow go past or something, and I'll go, oh my God, that's my reaction but you see these other channels where they scream and they go, oh,
and they try and chase after it and say, no.
But if you've been investigating, they've got a channel that they've been investigating for 6-10 years, you should not be that that petrified every time you see it. And look, I won't go on and on about it because it's one of those things. You
It's
can't do anything
controversy.
about it. It is very counterintuitive. It is, and it is like I said. You just stick in our lane and just keep plodding along, and yeah, as I said, we didn't do this for business. We didn't do this for fame. We didn't do this for anything but our love and and
And our interest.
our interest in the paranormal. So I'm gonna ask one last question that you don't
Yeah.
know. If you had any place in the world that you would investigate, where would it be?
Anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I'd probably keep it back at home, still here down in Australia. And I would say old Parramatta Jail because of the history behind the place. But then also to find out that I had a relative be in there
Oh,
for
okay.
for an unknown like for a mental asylum. He was actually locked up in there in the psychiatric wards or whatever they call it. So he was like a bit of a loony, as they say. Um, but then it's just the history behind it all, where the location of it is, being that it was the third jail built as the Australia was being colonised. The placement of it, and just being built in sandstone, where the sandstone
Yes.
all holds.
It is
If the
believed,
walls could
yeah, that the
talk,
sandstone. Yes, yes. And I've said that many times, but it is believed that sandstone is a good conductor of energy, and it also um, holds
and
onto
just
energy
the
big
amount
time.
of stories that have come out of that place is just wow. Like, there's only been a number of people that were able to escape out of there, and one of the person that was able to escape out of there was captured, brought back, and then sent to another jail. I think it's the Grafton jail where no one had ever escaped from, but the only guy that was able to had escaped from both. It's like a Shawshank Redemption thing where we were told when we went to the Paranormal Expo down there, and they were digging a tunnel under the cell blocks out to the nearest laundromat. But what had brought that all undone is that the guy had rung his nan or somebody or a family member and said to them, "We're getting out Sunday morning. I'll be home for a Sunday night dinner." So that family member then rang the prison and said, "So and so says he's getting out Sunday," and it was foiled because he wasn't getting out; he was escaping.
Oh. And you know what? There'd be so many interesting stories come out of
There
prisons.
is so many in that one. There was a couple of officers injured because of someone trying to escape over the wall because of contractors being there, and
Mm,
uh,
yeah. Jails are. You can imagine the
definitely
energy.
Parramatta Jail would be one to be for, like, is on a bucket list of mine to do a solo, well, not solo, but like be able to go live and investigate to hear their stories, to see who would come
Mm,
through. Um, just by being there on the paranormal expo, and I could sense some of them, and then being able to go into the cell, and yeah, you could just feel the sadness behind it all.
oh, and like we said, spirits need energy to communicate and do all that sort of stuff. So, could you imagine the amount of energy that was produced by prisoners locked up and I've seen a lot of shows where prisoners have seen spirits, not in just in quite a few jails.
Yeah.
Because obviously a lot of people pass away in jails.
Yeah, they pass away from, complications or, a prison brawl or anything.
Going back to the 1800s where they used to get hanged, up until, you know, today where, they could be shivved or, or have an illness or something. So that there's always
Or
unwanted
opioids or
narratives.
anything, really.
Yes, exactly. So, and the amount of energy that everyone in prison, I couldn't imagine it would be a nice peaceful holiday in there. So,
No.
so yeah, it would be. Yeah, there's quite a few jails that I would love to investigate, but it's just a matter of sometimes you can't because they've got their there's a
They've got
couple
their
here.
own.
They've got their own investigators. You're not allowed to do your own investigating, and it's like, I mean, to walk through and get the history of the place, but when you're an investigator yourself, you want to get in there and
Yeah.
investigate. Yeah, I'd love to do a jail. I really would. It would be. I know there's Beechworth.
Um, there is a tour, people that run ones at Parramatta Jail, but they've got to wait for approvals from the Aboriginal Land Council to be able to do them because it is owned by them now and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
Um, they do guided tours first, but then they send you do an overnight experience where you're there overnight, where you can run off and go and do whatever. You can go and set up in a cell
Oh.
block or whatnot in a group and do that. You can go down into the showers and do stuff like that, or the bath stalls, and
Wow. That would be really cool.
it
That
is
would be really
awesome. Like
cool.
there was a couple opportunities I missed out on last year where obviously finances weren't fun,
Yep. Yep.
or I didn't have anyone to go with me because I think the tour guides Appy Ghost Tours. They do a lot. They're up on Facebook, TikTok, and I think they've got a YouTube as well. But they go down to Gundagai, to the old jail down there.
Oh,
They
yeah. Yeah.
everywhere. So
Wow.
they did one. They did it in Halloween. One at I think at Parramatta. They did a New Year's Eve at Parramatta. So we,
Wow, that would have
you
been
can
good.
see a lot of things like the hyperactivity.
Wow, that would be awesome. Well, you know what? In all good time, I
It's come
plan
to an end.
to not stop this anytime soon, unless God forbid, touch wood, something happens. But yeah, it is. It's you just. I personally get really impatient. I'll go. Oh, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there. But it's
It's
it's not as
finances.
easy as that. Yeah, yeah,
And you've got to
exactly.
get approvals from certain people, and
Yeah, it's just not finances. It's the organising of it all, and then when you got to travel and look how much gear you take with you, like so
well,
much.
they can say, for example, the container I take with me, I can lift it, but it's preferred if two people lift it because it weighs up to 11 kilos because of what's in there.
Wow. And and then you got your
You
phone,
add a tripod,
yeah,
your phone.
tripods and your cameras and you got to make sure, and they're all not cheap to replace if you accidentally break them, So.
No,
But like I said, we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it. So because it's definitely not
exactly.
for the money. But
We do it for fun.
yeah, and meeting people like yourselves and other paranormal guests and share our stories, and you know what, everybody investigates in their own different way. Investigators will go, oh, I don't really like using that, or I don't believe in that, and others will say,
Yeah.
oh, I love that, or I don't use that, or I don't use that. You know what? It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree,
And
as long as you're
I don't
respectful to each
not
other.
every investigator I see does the Estes method. They don't
No.
use ghost tube seer and all that. They use necro. They use necrophonics and all that sort of stuff. But you find what works for you, and you just
Yeah.
go with what works for you.
At the end of the day, I believe that the way to finding things out, doesn't matter what you use, is validation.
Yeah.
And like, I can use stuff, as you've seen and yourself, that words will come through that don't mean anything. And you don't, but if we wanted to fake that, we'd go, oh, that word is that. Oh, that word must mean that. We'll just go, oh, orange. And keep going on.
Well, say, if it comes through with orange, what's orange? What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
if
try and
had
ask
nothing, then
questions.
obviously it was just a
We just
random
move
word that
on.
came through.
Yeah. But I find there's too many coincidences that happen, because I don't believe in coincidences, but there's too many validations that I've had over the time I've been investigating for some things that I've captured not to be real. So, and there'll be debunkers or other paranormal investigators go, nah, that's crap. And like, I can understand it, and I will listen to them. They'll explain to me, like, the K2, the EMF meter, it'll go off if you are close to a phone or electrical, and we do, and I've seen you do it, and I do try to debunk it, try to move it around. And you know what? I don't say that's 100% real, but we'll say, oh, look at the light going up. And we try to do our own little way of debunking, but sometimes things just can't be explained. So,
and like during the Estes that you will be able to see, JC moves and everything, like the cat ball starts flashing, and I say that was him moving.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll hit the cat ball or go near the REM pod, and I'll say, it's just me. And how many times you could go, oh wow, but you know what? We stay honourable to ourselves, and that's all that matters as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
And poo-poo the haters. Because
poo-poo the haters.
Because at the end of the day, they don't pay our bills.
No.
We have to try and scrape up
money to pay our own bills.
Investigations. We pay our own bills. So, you know what? So be it. But, well, I just want to thank you so much, Ry, for being my very first guest on my very first podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a pleasure talking to you, and obviously I know that we will see each other in previous in further investigations, and me coming to Sydney myself to do
3 weeks.
some investigations in 3 weeks' time. So, but it is absolutely awesome talking to other people and hearing their experiences and learning a little bit more about other people's beliefs and what they've been through. So So yes, guys, I will link Ryco.investigations down in the bottom below. Please go and follow these guys. They are awesome. They have TikTok, and you have Instagram, you have YouTube and I said TikTok, didn't I? I think they're the main ones, isn't there? Because I don't
Insta,
use
and YouTube.
I don't use, what do they call it now? X. It was Twitter. I don't like Twitter.
Yeah, we've got one, but we don't use it.
Yeah, same. I don't use it.
We've got a Snapchat as well, but we don't use it as much. But
yeah. The main ones are TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. It's free. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. It's free to follow on TikTok, and it's free to leave a message or free to just like. And it's free to watch us. We don't ask for money. So, but yeah, just support the little ones, because we do it, we do a lot of work. We do put a lot of time and effort into it for you guys to watch. So, and So, yep, once again, thank you, Ry, for joining us. And
Thank you so much.